was and is a remarkable figure in 20th century culture. He revolutionized American theater. He terrified the nation. He made cinema history.
He has been called the least successful director in the history of motion pictures.
Would you please welcome a giant of the entertainment industry, Mr. Orson Welles.
When eventually Caine was made, it was an enormous success, as all the world knows, and it's a long time ago now. Have you ever regretted that so great a success came so early?
I don't regret that in Caine because it was the only chance I ever had of that kind. I'm glad I had it at any time in my life. I wish I had it more often.
In 1941, a new young star appeared in Hollywood. Orson Welles, the 25-year-old wunderkind with no experience in film industry, made the movie Citizen Kane.
The first day that I directed a film was the first day I had ever been on a movie set.
The movie turned cinematography upside down, both in terms of camera work, direction, and story. A complete success. In 1939, Welles signed a contract with RKO Pictures for 2 motion pictures. At this time, RKO was at their most desperate as they were in creative and financial turmoil and needed a change. And after Orson's success on Broadway and the radio broadcast of The War of the Worlds, he was pursued by Hollywood.
I mean, everybody knows that you had the most astonishing contract that Hollywood has ever provided.
Yes.
Ever.
Not financially speaking, in terms of authority and rights.
You had total control.
Total control, so much so that the Rushes
RKO Pictures offered Welles the most insane contract for a director, especially one with no prior film experience. The contract called for writing, producing, directing, and appearing in 2 films. It subordinated the studio's financial interests to Welles's creative control and gave him complete control without interference. There were no problems with the movie Citizen Kane, although outsiders did try to interfere, but the second movie forever changed Orson's attitude to Hollywood.
The Magnificence of the Ambersons
Was Welles's second and last picture for RKO. The dramatic film is based on Booth Tarkington's novel of the same name, which tells the story of the decline of wealthy Midwestern family at the turn of the 20th century when the industrial age changed American society. While The Magnificent Ambersons was in post-production, Welles was sent to Brazil by the US government as a part of the Good Neighbor policy to create a documentary film.
I was told that it was my patriotic duty. I was sent to Rio to make up a movie about the carnival. They had promised me when I went to South America that they would send a moviola and cutters to me and that I would finish the cutting of Ambersons there. They never did. They cut it themselves.
The first screenings of the movie were poorly received by the audience, with many criticizing its slow pace and dark melancholic tone. RKO executives became nervous about its commercial prospects, especially since Welles's previous film Citizen Kane had not been a box office success, despite its critical acclaim.
They laughed at it, laughed at some of the performances, they walked out in droves, and it was about as disastrous a preview as you could possibly imagine.
There were these terrible reactions to the picture that said that, everybody who made it ought to be hung.
The original rough cut of the film was approximately 135 minutes in length. The studio significantly shortened the movie, cutting nearly 50 minutes of footage and adding a new, more optimistic ending to make the movie more acceptable to the general audience.
So they destroyed Ambersons, and the picture itself destroyed me.
We tried to respect as much as we could of what Orson originally put into the film.
It's gone. The whole end of it. The whole inactual plot was changed.
Now we can only imagine what Welles's The Magnificent Ambersons might have looked like.
Hollywood is Hollywood. It's the pictures I like to make are not the pictures Hollywood producers, and particularly modern Hollywood producers, purposes want to make.
In September 2021, documentary filmmaker Joshua Grossberg announced a plan to search for the original cut version of film. This is the version that Welles originally submitted to RKO. Grossberg's team hoped to find a copy of the film that was rumored to have been sent to Welles in Brazil during filming. For me, this is a story of ruined cinematic masterpiece and the betrayal of a genius. In the pursuit of financial success and pandering to mass audience, the studio ruined a masterpiece that even after radical changes, many critics consider an outstanding movie. And Orson Welles would often remember this movie as a failed attempt to surpass himself and Citizen Kane.
I didn't get a job as director for years afterwards. I never recovered from that attack.
Despite the difficulties that production faced throughout filming, The Magnificent Ambersons is still considered one of the greatest works in American cinema.
My name is Orson Welles. This is a Mercury production.